All right, good morning guys. It is Nick with NK Landscaping. Again, as usual, we got a cacophony of diesel sounds this morning and starting a new job. Today is going to be mainly transport and mobilization. So we have to get the excavator, the skid steer, all the attachments out to the site, and then we got to go pick up a bunch of Unilock and then utilize the skid steer on site to offload it from the trailer. So we're getting everything together. We're gonna get loaded up and then we'll get off to the job, unload everything again, and head off to Unilock. So let's do it. Hopefully it's gonna be a good job. I think it'll be a really good job. All right, we're here on site. You can't even see the house. It's that's like a shared driveway for I think 3 or 4 houses right there. We're on the end. So we're gonna get unloaded. They call me the attachment bandit. I got 2 sets of pallet forks, 2 buckets. Kurt's got the rest of everything. So we're tracking down here now. We're subcontracted out on this job. The general contractor's putting a deck on. So they already demoed the old deck and they have a bunch of materials in our way. So we're gonna move all those and then drop all the things off that we need and go get some Unilock. But we have a pretty good staging area here, so that's good. So yeah, we got a ton of deck building supplies that are in our way. So what we're gonna do is just scoot these out of the way. As long as I have a big enough path between the dumpster and this wood, I'm good to go. There's all the concrete for the footings. So move that, get the equipment into the yard. We luckily have a double gate, and then we're going to stage all of our Unilock right here, so off the driveway, and that is going to keep it to a minimal lawn damage. So let's move all this stuff. All right, we're fully unloaded. Let's we'll get, I think, 6 pallets of Unilock to start with. 6 pallets of Unilock. There's a couple different bricks in there. Actually, two different bricks, but just so you guys see, we are coming in 20,404 pounds on the trailer. Oh boy. Let's unload this stuff. Parked right at the end of the shared driveway. I'll be able to fork those right off quick and easy. All right, the skid steer is loaded up. Why, you ask? Well, the rest of the Unilock for this project is actually at our yard, and I need some way to load it. So probably gonna have to make 2 trips to that, so let's get moving. If you've been a subscriber to me for a while, you might remember this. If not, welcome to our old yard. It looks a lot different nowadays, but this used to be the hub for everything we used to do back in the day, back when we had 3 crews running, 4 crews running. This whole yard was full of big Shelter Logic tents. We had like 3 or 4 of them. I think at one point we had 4 or 5 trucks, tons of trailers, and now it's just a storage yard. So during COVID, they couldn't keep the bricks on the shelves. If you placed an order and didn't pick it up, it got immediately sold to someone else. They could not produce bricks fast enough. So what do? Well, we got worried because we were pumping out patios like it was our job. We overstocked a little bit. But now we're gonna be selling some of these. These are new, literal new old stock patios, pavers that have never been touched. So they're in really good shape. They just have been sitting here. So we're gonna load some of this up and get this out of here. Jeez, sound like a helicopter. Yeah, 4 more pallets of Unilock, Concord wall, Concord coping, Concord corners, and 1 more Beacon Hill. So let's get back to the job. This is the last load, so we might be able to actually start working on something. All right, guys, so now we're finally in the backyard, and you can see what we're working with. So it used to be a deck. It is gone now, so the general contractor came and took that out probably this last week. These are new footings, so we're going to be digging those for them. You can see the 3 old footings. Every single one of those was different. I don't know why that one's a foot out of the ground, that one's 3 inches out of the ground, and that one is just on top of the pad. But anyway, this pad's got to come out of here. We don't have our demo saw or jackhammer with us today because it's back in the enclosed trailer, and today was mainly a moving around day. I'm going to throw the ripper on the excavator and see if I'm able to do any damage with that. If not, we'll just end up leaving for today. But yeah, this whole concrete has to get demoed, and our patio is going to go from house corner to where that wall is now. So it's going to be awesome. Got the ripper on now. I'm going to just start seeing what happens. Kurt seems to think this is going to come out easy. All right, I have movement, but that's a big piece of concrete. So once we get a section up, that'll drastically help. What we originally looked at was that this concrete, oh my god, I'm lifting up the whole pad. This concrete is like 4 to 6 inches thick. And I'm just gonna pile it behind me. So tomorrow when we bring the dump trailer, we can get out of here. Yeah, now that I got a piece up, this should be a lot easier, and I'll just kind of work my way at it. Luckily, it has a few cracks in it, which is good. We'll get some pictures. That's a big thing we always struggle with is pictures. I know clearly I'm filming all this for YouTube, but we're actually terrible about remembering to take job photos. It's something that we really got to work on because that's pretty important. Getting little pieces. I'm working along this crack, but kind of got to wedge the ripper in there. Oh, I got a new crack forming. There we go. Luckily, whoever poured this concrete was not a mean, terrible human being and didn't load this thing up full of rebar. It's got the mesh in it, and that's breaking up very easy. Sometimes we've dealt with some serious concrete before, where people put all sorts of stuff in there. I remember one time we had concrete that someone put a bunch of steel right angle like bed rails in, and it's like they had like 3 beds in their house. They threw in this huge stoop that we had to demo, and oh my god, that was horrible. It took forever. that out. What do you think? That's like a 10 by 6 piece maybe? Probably clocking in 5 inches thick on average. Something like that. Can't be light, but KX is really impressing us as usual. And after that piece, there's a couple more pieces, and that'll be all of the patio in a pile. We got to clean up a little bit more of the Unilock bricks over there, and then tomorrow will be the further demo of this down to a reasonable size. And then we're going to start our excavation phase and then get those footings in the ground for the contractor. So moving along really smoothly. I'm going to keep busting this up. Everything has been torn out now, so no more Unilock wall here, no more concrete patio here. The only thing that's left is this small Unilock wall over here, but that's kind of, at this point, part of the pile, so that'll just get taken out tomorrow. All right, guys, welcome to day 2. We got to load up the dump trailer, and we're going to be hauling concrete for most of the day, but check this out. I normally park my truck here every night, and last night we had a meeting, so I left it down by the garage and ended up doing a vacuum on the interior. This huge stick fell. That would have landed right on the top of my truck. I mean, that's not a small piece of wood. Not super heavy, but that would have hurt. I would have left a dent, and I would have been upset. So I'm happy that that worked out. So, all right. So the main goal for today is to get this large pile of concrete loaded out. So I'm probably going to end up loading it onto either the forks or the bucket of the Bobcat, and then that will go up to the trailer, which is just around the corner. All right, we're on the way to the recycling facility with our first load of concrete. I'd estimate we're somewhere in the 5-ton vicinity. That's what it feels like. It's actually loaded pretty well. Me and Kurt went in the trailer and kind of moved things around to make sure we're evenly distributed. But yeah, we're gonna go get this dumped and go do it all again. We're at the recycling facility, and man, they got everybody going. They're crushing concrete today. You see, they got the big crusher machine loading it, and then they got a bunch of guys here going around. This is all like tailings from, I assume they were screening some dirt over there. That's what it looks like. So they're kind of picking through everything, making sure they separate out the trash and all that. So nice. Yeah, we're getting our load dumped, and then we'll get out of here and do a second load. Depends on if you're using English or metric. Oh, okay. Yeah. It was like 160 bucks for just over 5 tons. So let's get back to the job. Well, just like that, that's all the concrete. So it's almost 12 o'clock. So not bad. Right before lunch, we'll eat lunch on the road. And when we come back, I think we're gonna end up bringing the enclosed trailer with us. So we have all of our tools, and we can start working on the excavation part of this job. So let's get this last load loaded, tarped, and out of here. This is gonna be a heavier load. I'm thinking 7 tons. We just spread it back out because it's hard to spread it with the skid steer, but we can get it tarped and get it off to the dump. That was fun. It's very dangerous in here. Everything's sharp and heavy. All right, good morning, guys. It is day 3. We're on site here, and as you can see, we've got our 3 footings that we need to dig for the contractor. This is the only reference we have. There are no plans for this job. This is kind of like a napkin sketch type deal, which doesn't really bode well for us, but that's how it goes sometimes. The way we're going to do this is we're going to put a pin at the house, and then a pin over here, maybe 4 feet away from that. And as long as those 2 pins, if we put a string line between them, as long as those 2 pins intersect that in the center, and then we know if we measure off that 1 pin to this, that we have a distance, that'll line us up. So we're basically going to install some pins once I clean up this, and on top of digging for our footings, we need to get this base excavated for our new patio. So we have some gravel with us today. We'll be getting that all put in. So hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, but we have remarked our footing locations. So that was what our stakes are for. We can now run a string line between the stake at the foundation and the stake at the end. And then we know each footing is 14 feet out from the foundation, and that gives us a really good reference. Kurt's out of paint. Good thing I got another can. We're going to dig our footings now. So from this point, we want to go down at least 36 inches because we're going to have another 10 inches of patio built up in here, and that'll put us down at 46 inches, which is going to be our depth. It's going to look a little weird because we're going to have so much sonotube sticking up, but that's all going to be backfill around. And let's do it. All right, first sonotube going in. That's a nice dig, not way bigger than it needs to be. So we're gonna get this thing lined up along our 14-foot space off of the foundation, and then we're gonna run that string line back again to make sure that we're in line. We'll backfill this one, and then work on the next one and the next one. And then we have the jumping jack with us today to pack all around that. We don't want that settling because we were building a patio on top of it. But yeah, it's coming along really nicely. Really happy with the progress, and we just got to keep doing this a couple more times. So we have 3 sonotubes installed, and we're just checking with the GC, making sure everything looks good there. But in the meantime, we've marked our out of bounds. So the inside against the wall section of the patio is going to be 40 feet long, and then both ends are going to do a flare, and there are going to be 2 walls, so one on each side. So the edges of the flare will be 5 feet each. So we're going to have 50-foot wide patio in the front, 40-foot wide patio in the rear. So Kurt's now marked all that out. We're going to move the laser level, probably somewhere in the front out of the way, and we're going to set our 1/4 inch per foot slope, and then that will allow us to excavate the full range of the patio down to grade. And then we basically need to wait on an inspection on these. These need to be poured before we can compact around them. But yeah, we'll go from there. So let's get to digging. might look a little different to you. You might not even realize I'm standing in a big hole. That's probably a 3-foot drop right there. I left this section unexcavated, so this is going to be a wall that curves out and basically tapers back into the lawn in that corner. I left a ramp here just because I'm going to need to come in and out with the skid steer, so I don't want to have to do a drop off. But everything is excavated out. You might see that we piled a bunch of dirt around the sonotubes, and that's really just because we talked to the GC and they said the engineer will not approve anything unless it's that 40, I think it's 42 inches that we're shooting for. And they said gravel doesn't count, which is strange to me, but gravel doesn't count. So once this passes inspection, we can dig this out and put our gravel around it. So we're gonna have to wait on this section, but that's okay. The rest of this is dug out. Found a bunch of pipes in here, 2 that were stacked on top of each other. It's not good to do, but whatever. And we've got a mountain of dirt. So goal right now is, now that everything is excavated, we have that load of gravel in the truck. We're going to dump it and go run another load before the quarry closes today. So at least we'll have 10 to 12 tons on site. But for right now, we're going to do that and get moving. Good morning, guys, and welcome to day 4. It's a nice, beautiful Friday, and we showed up with a new load of gravel this morning. We are going to be getting the majority of our 3/4 base in today. So we have roughly 19 yards or 19 tons of 3/4 inch stone on site. And that should be enough to do everything in here minus the footing area. So we'll have to do that after the inspection is complete. But basically we're throwing down a 6-inch layer of 3/4 inch stone with a 1/4 inch per foot slope away from the house. So Kurt's getting that set up now. I'm gonna get the excavator moved out of here, and then I'm just gonna start ferrying rock down in here. So should be quick and simple. That's all we're gonna do for today. We're gonna get that graded out and compacted, and then we're gonna actually start hauling some dirt out of here. So I lied. It's not the only thing we're doing today. But we want to reduce this pile of dirt to a lot less. This is probably 30 to 40 yards of dirt. I came out of here. Well, guys, I messed up, and I messed up pretty big time. For some reason, my math, I don't know where these numbers came from now that I'm looking at it. I guess I was in the right mind when I was doing this, but I don't know what this means now. We need to come down basically 10 inches from the top of the patio height. So right here, we need to come down 10 inches from this. So this is, notice how this is a positive number. Well, you're going to go -10 from that. So that's going to put you at -6 3/4 inches, not -11 1/8. So currently, our whole excavation is 5 3/4 inches deeper than it needs to be. We were both wondering why we had so much dirt, and we were both wondering why we were so deep yesterday, but neither of us said anything because, like Kurt said, I did all that math and it should have been right. I messed up big time. So now, instead of putting gravel in here and wasting all that gravel, we have to backfill almost 6 inches of dirt in this whole area and compact it. We're going to get to that and get moving on that, but at least it's a correctable mistake. It's not something that's going to cost us a lot of money, and at least we caught it now instead of building the patio and wondering why the patio is 6 inches lower than it should have been. Kurt's really happy about this, by the way. So
I just wonder if the footings are right.
I think the footings are right. They look right.
I hope so.
We're gonna check the footings off camera here, but yeah. All right. I think we fixed our mistake. So we went through here and we basically used half the dirt. Go figure. When you're double as deep as you need to be, I guess you're gonna make double the dirt. So that helps us out, so we don't have to haul as much of that out of here. And we basically did this in multiple lifts, small lifts, because we don't have the heaviest plate compactor ever. So we did multiple lifts and we shot it a little bit low. So we're slightly below where we need to be, which just means that we're going to need to use more gravel. So hopefully that makes up for any loss of compaction. But yeah, now's the time to start putting gravel in. And now we can get going on where we were supposed to be, what, an hour and a half ago? Let's get to work. So, as you can see, we got the majority of our gravel in. We're still a little bit low, and we used up everything we brought, so we're gonna go get another 6-ton load, and then I loaded up the dump trailer with a bunch of dirt. So Kurt's actually taking that. We're gonna be slowly but surely putting a new driveway into his house, so he needs some extra dirt, so maybe one day he can get himself a nice garage. So not too bad. The back where I'm standing here, we're a little bit high, but the rest of it, we're like 1 to 2 inches low. So, yep. Well, the goal for today is basically get this thing graded with 3/4 base. So Monday, we can show up with our 1/4 inch and get to work on laying pavers. So, see you in a little bit. Well, that's not good. These all need to be replaced. We're gonna pull our string lines to get our mark outs for locations, and then we gotta go get some new sonotubes for these. No good. So let me explain to you guys exactly what's going on here. As you can tell, it rained. Rained pretty good this weekend, mainly yesterday. So it's Monday, and we get a text this morning that says the sonotubes collapsed. Now, our agreement with the general contractor was that we were digging the sonotubes. That's it, digging and installing. And normally, when we work with this general contractor, they will send out one of their guys. He will do the actual installation of the tubes, the leveling, all of that, and we're just here to dig and backfill. Well, in this case, none of that happened, and everything fell on us. I don't know why, but it's fine. We are perfectly capable of installing sonotubes, so we did just that, and we kept moving with our patio installation. Well, there was nowhere in any agreement that said we needed to cover these. Kurt actually did cover the center one with that pond, and even that one collapsed a little bit. The contractor said that that's fine, but whatever. We're gonna replace these too because they did collapse. But you can see how wet it is and how much moisture this ground holds. It's all clay, and unfortunately, not a lot of drainage here, but the open graded base is holding up good. This is nice and sturdy, and even right on the edge was sturdy. So we're gonna get this backfilled, and I'm gonna try to use some drier dirt, and hopefully these things stay good long enough until the inspector comes out today, and then they just gotta get some concrete in these. Once the concrete's in, it's not a problem, but it's always the joys of working with other contractors, but we're getting it done and making it happen. All right, that took maybe 40 minutes. It's like it never happened. We got 2 new sonotubes, looking way better. I don't know about this guy, but they told us to leave it, so see what happens. All right, we gotta go home and work on some maintenance, and we're not actually gonna be back to the shop for a few days, so I'll see you when we're back. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. There were a lot of fun little moments there for us, but I'm going on vacation. So I will not have a video this upcoming week for you. I'm taking a break. So you will see part 2 to this video, not this following week, but the week after. So there will be a 1-week gap. Sorry, but as you can see, I'm sitting in my boat in my garage. I got it all prepped. We're going back to Lake George again to enjoy the 1 week we get off per year. Gonna enjoy camping on the island. So if you haven't seen, I already have a video about that from last year. I filmed my whole camping trip with my family, and Kurt, he comes along with us. So if you're interested in looking at what that looks like, the video is linked down below. Otherwise, while you're watching this, I'm enjoying some fun in the sun, in the boat, and getting some well-deserved vacation time. But you'll see part 2 to this when we get back. We'll get that patio laid. You're going to see how that project transforms into what it currently looks like, you know, at the time of this filming. But it looks really good. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, or not. That's fine with me too. And while you're at it, check out NK Garage, where we have tons of videos on tools and tool hauls and all that good stuff over there, milling and machinist tools. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.